Morning students. Today we will going to study about refraction through a prism and dispersion phenomena, and this is a part of your chapter The Human Eye and the Colorful World, chapter number 11. So let's get started with this. But before starting, let's perform a simple activity. We are going to use scale and we will going to use pen. This is a simple transparent body pen, right? And when we will going to focus this scale on the source of light, here I got tube light here on the top. So when I'm going to focus the scale on tube light at certain angle, right, you are able to see different bands of color. Same it happens with the pen also. When you will focus pen on source of light at certain angle, at the edge of the pen, you are able to see different bands of color. So now the point is why you are able to see different bands of colors. The same phenomena is observed in nature also. When the rain stops and sun shines, then you are able to see a wonderful colorful rainbow in the sky. So why you are able to see rainbow? Why the white light, it gets splits up into 7 different colors? Or why the rainbow, it consists of 7 different colors? These are certain questions where which need our understanding. So this is what we will going to study today. In order to understand the refraction through a prism, let's recapitulate what we have already covered about the rectangular glass slab. You know that the rectangular glass slab consists of a transparent body, and when the incident ray, it falls on one of the refracting surface of the rectangular glass slab, right? Actually, in case if there is no refraction, that means there is no bending. Refraction का मतलब ही होता है bending. So in case if there is no bending, then the incident ray of light it should move from the other side of the rectangular glass slab straight like this. But what it is observed is that the ray of light, it get deviated from its path, and when it emerges out from the other parallel surface of the rectangular side of the glass slab, then it is almost, no, it's not almost, it is exactly parallel to the path of the incident ray, the actual path of the incident ray. So here you could see that there is a lateral shift between the actual path of the incident ray and the refracted ray, or you could say this ray which is coming out from the other side of the rectangular glass slab. There is a shift in its position, right? So you have seen refraction, and you have even discovered here a phenomena called as lateral displacement in case of rectangular glass slab. The same thing we will going to explore here in the refraction concept, but the refraction through a prism. Okay, let's focus here. This is our rectangular prism. This is a device which is used to explain or in order to study the dispersion phenomena. Before moving to the prism, let's first have a look to the various parts of the prism, right? As from this model, you could easily make it out that it has got 3 rectangular surface. This is one. This is second rectangular lateral surface, and this is third rectangular lateral surface. And this is the triangular principal section, right? The first, the one which is facing towards you, and at the back there is another triangular base. Okay. The same, if you are interested, you can even make the paper model of your prism, the one which I have created. Right, so this is the first rectangular surface, right? Turn it like this. This is another rectangular surface, and at the bottom you have got the third rectangular surface. And these are the triangular faces 1 and 2. So when you are going to insert this, this becomes like a paper model of your prism, 3D model. So this is your prism, one of the triangular base, and this is another triangular base. Fine. So how refraction it takes place through a prism? Let's make a 2D model of the prism in this way, right? I'll rub this. Now a ray of light, let's say at this point, it is incident on one of the face of the prism. So let this point it be E, and this is PE is my incident ray, which is made to fall on one of the face, say A, B, C. So it is made to incident on the face AB of the rectangular prism. Okay. So at this point of incidence, we will going to draw normal. Right. This is how we will going to draw normal. Let's call this normal as N and N dash. The angle made by normal along with this incident ray, it is called as angle of incidence. This is clear to you? Let's move ahead now. Now, this ray of light, that is this incident ray of light, when it moves through the material of the prism, it undergoes bending. It undergoes refraction. That means there is change in its path. If there is no change in its paths, then it should actually move out from the other surface of the prism in this direction. But what it is observed here is that there is a change in its path and it get deviated. This is how it get deviated from its path. Okay. That means it has undergone deviation. It has undergone a refraction here. And at this point, let's call this point as D, or we can call this as say F, right? So at this point F, again refraction takes place. And the ray of light, it emerges out from the other side, that is side AC of the prism. So how it comes out, let's draw it in this way. Okay. And again we will going to draw normal here. When we will going to draw normal, call this normal as say M dash and M. Then two normals, they meet at this point. So this point, right, where the normal is intersecting, okay, like this it has to be. Okay. So this angle, it is called as angle of emergence. Okay. And this is my normal M dash and M. Okay. Now this ray of light is undergoing refraction two times. When it enters from air medium to the glass medium, that is the material of this prism, and from glass to air medium. So refraction is taking place from air to glass and from glass to air. Air is actually a rarer medium and glass is a denser medium. So whenever a ray of light, it passes from rarer to the denser medium, then the ray of light, it bends towards the normal. Now let's check it out whether it is bending towards the normal or not. This is an incident ray, right? And it is bending towards normal. Look at to this angle. This angle, right? This is angle of refraction. Let me call this as angle R1. Okay. This is the first angle of refraction. Okay. Now this ray of light, when it comes out from the other surface of the prism, we find that this ray of light is moving away from the normal. This is the another, if we consider this as an incident ray here, forget about this part. This is an incident ray, and if this is considered as a refracted ray, because now here the ray of light is passing from glass to air, that means from denser to rarer medium. And we have already studied that when ray of light passes from denser to rarer medium, then the bending of light, it moves away from the normal. यानी कि normal से ये away हो जाएगा. This is what you can see here, that the angle is more, that means it is bending away from the normal. Okay. So it is undergoing refraction two times, and let's call this as angle R2. Now this angle R2, it can be considered as an angle of incidence in case of, for this angle of emergence, right? Now we have considered the principal section of the prism, right? And this principal section of the prism, here we have considered that this is an equilateral triangle. That means all sides are equal to each other and all angles are equal to each other, and this is 60-degree angle. So that means angle of prism is 60 degree here. Okay. What we need to understand from this diagram, one formula we need to explore and we need to understand, and this is angle of incidence plus. There is one more angle which is called as angle of minimum deviation, and this is how it is represented as, this is called as delta. Angle of minimum deviation is equal to angle of incidence plus angle of emergence. Okay. Are we clear about the angle of incidence? This is our angle of incidence. Angle of emergence, this is the angle of emergence, the angle which is made by emergent ray along with the normal. Angle of prism is, this is the angle of the prism, and angle of minimum deviation. We have not yet extrapolated these ray of light, right? So first we will going to extrapolate the incident ray this way, and then we will going to extrapolate the emergent ray. So when we will going to extrapolate the incident ray and the emergent ray, that means I am talking about this angle. This is called as the angle of minimum deviation, or you can even call them angle of deviation, right? So this means this ray, let's call this as, since this is F, and let us call this as Q. So it represents, or it seems, or it appears that FQ, it appears to come from, say, ray Q dash. Q dash FQ is the path of this emergent ray, and P, E and E dash is the path of the incident ray. Okay, I hope this concept is clear to you. Now we will going to study what are the factors on which this refraction depends. So the factors on which the refraction through a material of the prism, it depends upon the angle of the prism. First thing, angle of the prism, right? Then it depends upon the material of the prism, right? Material of the prism, that means of which material it is made. The prism, it can be made up of different glass materials. So material of prism, right? It depends upon the angle of deviation also. Okay, it depends upon angle of deviation, and it depends upon, since it is depending on the material of the prism, so it also depends upon the refractive index of the material of the prism, right? Material of the prism, and how it is depending? It is depending on the refractive indices also. See, when we talk about refractive indices, we have already covered that refractive index. It is a term which explain us, or which enables us, or which helps us to find how much light it get deviated from its path as compared to when it is moving in the air or in vacuum medium. The speed of light is maximum in air or in vacuum medium, and speed of light in air or vacuum medium, right, it is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Okay, so we will going to focus on to this formula, that refractive index, which is also represented as N, it is equal to C by V. That means it is ratio of the velocity of the light in two mediums, right? C is actually 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. That means velocity of the light, it is maximum in air or in vacuum medium. So this is in air, or we can call this as a vacuum medium. Okay, so we can call this as air and vacuum medium, and this is the velocity of the light in second medium. Here the velocity of the light, ray of light, it changes when it moves into the material medium, and that is the reason why the refraction through the prism, it depends upon material of the prism, and the refraction, it depends upon the refractive index. Okay, so now we will going to discover, or we will going to learn about dispersion phenomena. Dispersion is splitting of white light. Dispersion means splitting of white light into 7 different colors. That means if we are using a white light, it gets split up into 7 different colors, and these 7 different colors are vibgyor, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. These are 7 different colors where white light gets splits up into it. So that means that one white light, okay, it comprises of 7 different colors. 7 different colors, that means it is consisting of 7 different wavelength. It consists of 7 different wavelength. So that means a white light consists of 7 different wavelength. So here we are going to make use of 2 more terms: monochromatic light and polychromatic light. Okay, Monochromatic light means a ray of light or light which consists of only one wavelength, and polychromatic light, just like white light, it consists of many wavelengths, so it is called as a polychromatic light. Okay, so when a polychromatic light, like white light is an example of polychromatic light. So when a white light it hits or it is made to incident on one of the refracting surface of the material of the prism or the side of the prism, within the material of the prism it get deviated or it undergoes refraction, and when it emerges out from the other side of the prism, we could find that there are these different colors can be obtained. Okay, so these different colors, when they are taken on the screen like this, these different colors when they are taken on the screen, it can be represented or it can be shown like this. Violet is at the bottom of the band and red is at the top of the band, which is the band which is observed here on the screen. Now the question arises, why violet is at the bottom, why red is at the top? Okay, what makes violet to be at the bottom and red to be the top? Okay, so let's focus on to these things one by one, and we will even going to make use of this equation, that is C is equal to nu lambda. C is the velocity of the light, nu is frequency, and lambda is wavelength of the light. We will make use of these two concepts here, and we will going to explain why violet is at the bottom, red is at the top, right? Why the scattering phenomena and other things. Later on you are able to explain all these once you are clear with the concept of velocity, frequency and the wavelength of the violet and the red light. Okay, so let's focus on to it. So when this incident light, it get deviated into 7 different colors, right? So what actually had happened over here is, this violet light, when it enters into this medium, it is having different velocity, right? So the major reason behind the dispersion phenomena is because there is a change in velocity of white light, of the change in velocity of different colors of white light when it moves from one medium to another medium. Had been if it is air or vacuum, then it remains at like white light, because all these different colors they travel with same velocity. But when white light it moves into some material like prism, then because there is a change in the velocity of the light, we find that all these different colors they travel with different velocity, and when they emerges out from the other side of the refracting surface of the prism, then we can see the different bands of colors here on the screen. Okay, and even we have seen the deviation angle. Let me just plot. This is my angle of prism and this is the angle of deviation. This is angle of emergence and this is the angle of incidence. This is angle of emergence. Now look into it carefully. We find that the violet light, it has maximum angle of emergence. Red light, it has minimum angle of emergence, right? Angle of emergence for the violet light is maximum, right? For the violet light it is maximum, and for the red light it is minimum angle of emergence. Or let me to place here the colors only. It's violet light and this is red light. So the angle of emergence is maximum in case of violet light, right? And if you extrapolate backward, you will find that this angle of deviation also in case of it is maximum in case of violet light and it is minimum in case of red light. This is angle of deviation. Okay, and what else we can explore from here? Let's have a look to this formula. C is equal to nu into lambda. Now C is a constant term. If C is a constant term, that means it does not changes. So you can say from this equation, this formula, you can say that nu is inversely proportional to lambda. यानी कि nu यदि आप increase करोगे तो lambda decrease हो जाएगा, right? यानी frequency बढ़ाओगे तो lambda decrease हो जाएगा, okay? But velocity is directly proportional to wavelength. यानी कि अब यहाँ पर आप ध्यान दो कि जो वेलोसिटी है यहाँ पर वॉयलेट लाइट की जो वेलोसिटी है वो यहाँ पर क्या है, मिनिमम है. velocity of the white light is minimum, violet light is minimum, and the velocity of red light is maximum, right? Velocity of violet light is minimum and the velocity of red light is maximum. यदि velocity आपकी minimum है तो क्या होगा, आपकी जो वेवलेंथ है यहाँ पर वॉयलेट लाइट की, तो वॉयलेट लाइट की जो वेवलेंथ है वो हो जाएगी यहाँ पर आपकी वेवलेंथ, यहाँ पर मैं लिख देती हूँ, वॉयलेट लाइट की वेवलेंथ होती है इट्स 4000 एंगस्ट्रॉम एंड द रेड लाइट वेवलेंथ इज 7900 एंगस्ट्रॉम, और रफली यू कैन इवन से 8000 एंगस्ट्रॉम. सो द वेवलेंथ ऑफ वॉयलेट लाइट इज मिनिमम, right, and the wavelength of red light is maximum. So as a result of this, the frequency of violet light, it will be, since it is inversely proportional to each other, यानी कि एक कम है तो दूसरा ज्यादा होगा, so therefore the frequency of violet light it will be maximum and frequency of red light it will be minimum. ठीक है, अब इससे और भी हम जनरलाइजेशन कर सकते हैं. लेट्स लुक एट टू दिस फॉर्मूला. रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स इज इक्वल टू सी बाई बी. हियर सी इज अ कांस्टेंट टर्म, दैट मींस रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स एंड वेलोसिटी दे आर इनवर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल टू ईच अदर, राइट? Refractive index and velocity is inversely proportional to each other. So this means that the refractive index for the violet light, here since they are inversely proportional, this is minimum, so here we can call that the refractive index for the violet light is maximum and the refractive index for the red light is minimum. And this is the reason why we are able to see the different bands of color here. That means a white light gets splits up into different colors. This is called as dispersion phenomena, and violet is at the bottom and red is at the top because there is change. There is a difference in their wavelength, there is a difference in their frequency, there is a difference in the refractive index. Now please have a note on this. When we are calling this, when we are saying here refractive index, it actually means refractive index of the material of the prism for white light, right? Refractive index of material of the prism for violet light, for red light. Material of the prism will be the same whether you see the material of which the glass material the prism is made up of, it will going to be the same, but when you make the violet light to fall onto the prism, it undergoes different deviation, right? Similarly you observe that for the red light also it undergoes difference in their, or it undergoes different value of, or it shows different values of deviation. Okay, so in order to understand all these things, at first time it appears to be very difficult to summarize all these concepts, but don't worry about it. I'll give you one simple method to learn all this, right? And what is the simple method? That means all this lecture, whatever you have studied for 30 minutes or 20 minutes, it can be summed up by just one single statement. Focus here. Violet has maximum rediff, right, account, but minimum below account. Let's say below account or velocity you can say. Let's summarize. अब आपको किस किस चीजों पे यहाँ पर फोकस करना है. Violet is a name of a girl. आप वॉयलेट इज अ नेम ऑफ बॉय भी कह सकते हो. सो वॉयलेट एक गर्ल का नाम है. इट हैज अ मैक्सिमम रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स, इट हैज मैक्सिमम एंगल ऑफ डेविएशन, इट हैज मैक्सिमम डिस्पर्जन, राइट, इट हैज मैक्सिमम फ्रीक्वेंसी. इसको भूल जाओ, ये जस्ट आपकी स्टेटमेंट बनाने के लिए है. बट इट इज हैविंग अ मिनिमम वेलोसिटी, वीलो अकाउंट या वीवो अकाउंट, जो भी आप कहना चाहें. सो दिस इज वेलोसिटी एंड दिस इज द होल सबमिशन ऑफ एंटायर थिंग व्हाट यू हैव सो फार कवर्ड. So velocity is a name, violet is a name of a girl. Violet has maximum rediff account but minimum vivo account. आप यहाँ मैंने वीलो लिखा है, आप यहाँ पर vivo भी लिख सकते हो. vivo account, right? So this is about the dispersion and the refraction through the prism. Okay, so before putting up an end, let's quickly have a look to one more concept, right? let's focus here. What we find here is that the white light, it splits up into 7 different color, and that phenomena is called dispersion. Splitting of white light into 7 different color is dispersion. But when you observe these 7 different colors, how it goes? V, I, B, G, Y, O, R in this pattern. Right? So these 7 different colors, they appear as a band, in a form of a band here onto the screen. Right? It appears as a band on the screen. So this band of 7 different colors, it is called as spectrum. Spectrum is defined as band of 7 different colors. Okay? And the spectrum, it can be of 2 types. It can be pure spectrum and it can be impure spectrum. Okay? What is the difference between the pure and impure spectrum? Have a look to this. In case if you are able to see the distinct colors which are not overlapping with each other, right? It may be in a form of line or it may be in a form of like this. Okay? So when you are able to see these distinct colors separately from each other, then it is a pure spectrum. But in nature, we are not able to see such kind of an arrangement, but instead we are able to see such a kind of an arrangement the way I am drawing it. So that means these different colors, they are overlapping with each other. So when the different colors, they overlap with each other, then it is called as impure spectrum, and when they are distinct to each other, then it is called as pure spectrum. So this is all about our topic refraction through prism, dispersion and spectrum phenomena. Thank you, students.